Hi friends of Solar Body Alchemy. So here we are, Sunday, and we are going to work as Kate mentioned yesterday in her live, in her video, on self-care. So this is the month of Cancer. And first of all, happy birthday, all of Cancer. Today is even my mom's birthday, so I know very well how it is to have a Cancer in the family. They are absolutely a lovely star sign. But as you know, I read tarots. So what I am going to do today, I am going to pick one tarot, one for each star sign, and I'm going to relate that tarot with self-care. So this is going to be exceptionally on a Sunday, and we are going to work on a very nice, clear schedule, so you will never miss one of our lives. Are you ready? So let's start. And today, I am going to work with this deck here. As you know, this is one of my favorite decks. Is the one that I use the most, and it is the one that I connect the most, especially in this time of my life. So I'm going to use this one, and I am going to start right now. So let's give it a nice shuffle. How are you guys in the meantime while I shuffle and I connect energetically with my deck? How is it going? I mean, tomorrow we are going to start the second week of lifting restrictions in Ireland after lockdown. So actually talking about self-care is even more important. Because many of us, we want to go back to normal as soon as possible, and perhaps we might forget everything that we have learned during this month of lockdown of slowing down. Okay, so let's try and let's make self-care one of our top priorities right now, because remember, if we don't take care of ourselves, we won't be able to take care of others. Okay, and by the way, welcome to everyone who's watching me in this time. Thank you so much. It is very much appreciated. Okay, so I shuffled my deck, and let's start with our friends Aries. So what's the advice of tarot for you in regards to self-care? Okay, so for you it is the Two of Cups. So Aries, the Two of Cups, it is a card of relationship, of love, of being with others. So in this week, just please be careful of the people that are around you, okay? How they can help you and how you can help them, okay? So it's a two-way communication. The card represents a couple, and it is a card, since it's a cup card, it is very much linked to emotions. So really, this week, pay attention to the self-care, particularly to your emotions. So your emotional self-care, it is very important for you. Okay, so friends of Aries, this is the advice of the card for you. Let's move on. Next, our friends of Taurus. So what is the advice of the card for you this week? So let's see. It's another cup card, and in this case we've got the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups, usually it is a card that might represent actually apathy. Okay, so we have this guy and he's a little bit depressed, and he actually is not aware of what's going on around him or around her. Okay, in this case around him, because the guy is the main character of our card. Now, how do I relate this one to self-care in regards to Taurus? Now, friends of Taurus, okay, nothing personal, but sometimes you might be a little bit oblivious to what is going on around you, okay, and that's fine. But in this particular week, just try to be a little bit more careful to what is going on around you, and perhaps there is something that you might do for someone that you care, or perhaps you need actually to rely on someone to help you. So just be really much aware to what's going on around you. And again, interestingly enough, it is another cup card, so which really suggests to me about emotional self-care. Plus, the number 4 suggests stability. And Taurus, you are an earth sign. So for you, stability, it is quite important. So perhaps I would really invite you to consider what makes the pillars of your emotional stability. Okay, so just pay attention to this particular aspect of your life right now in regards to self-care. Okay, so let's move on. Our friends Gemini. So what's in the store for our friends Gemini? What's the advice of the cards in relation to self-care? Another cup card. The 10 of Cups, which is quite an interesting cup. An interesting card. The 10 of Cups, it is also considered to be the happiness card. It is the family card. Now, we have just passed the Gemini month, so I am sure that many of you will have gone to our website where there are lots of information in regards to Gemini. But Gemini, as we have said many times, it is an air sign, and they are very, very smart, very intelligent. They are always on the news. They have a nose on the news. As Kate put it, they are the right people at the right time at the right place. Okay, they're always on the go. Now, this might be sometimes perhaps a little bit hard on the people that are around them, because since Gemini is so smart and it's on the go all the time, you know, the loved ones might be a little bit tired, you know, in catching up. They might try always to be, you know, to catch up with the thousand thoughts that cross through the wonderful, beautiful minds of Gemini. So Gemini, this week, just try a little bit. If you see one of your friends or one of your family members that perhaps isn't on your wavelength, just slow down a tiny bit and see. Perhaps, you know, they are going through something, or perhaps you are going 1,000 miles an hour and they can't simply, you know, they don't have the same speed that you have in being with the news. So just try to slow down a little bit and be with them where they are, okay? And again, as I said earlier on, interestingly, this is another cup card, which really makes me think how important, at least for the first 3 signs that we have already talked about, how it is important to take care of your emotional well-being, Gemini. I know that you are an earth sign, but still, it is very, very, very important for you to take care of your emotional self-care, okay? So this is the advice for Gemini. Let's move on. Woohoo! Now we have the birthday boys and girls, which are our friends of Cancer. Let's see what the tarot have to say about our friends. So let's pick a card in regards to self-care for Cancer. So we have changed. So I have picked the Ace of Wands. Now, friends of Cancer. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the best place for you to show the card. The Ace of Wands. Ace mean, all aces mean new beginnings. Okay, so something new that it is starting. And usually, especially if you have to start a new project, this is a very, very exciting, fantastic card to pick. Okay, it is Wands. Wands, it's associated with fire, with a new energy, with passion, with the fire that it's burning inside of you, which is very strange actually, because you are a water sign, okay? But it is also true that opposites attracts. So how can we relate a fire card, an ace card with self-care with Cancer? Well, dear friends of Cancer, you are always taking care of others, okay? You are lovely people, you have big hearts, you always want to help, and perhaps sometimes you forget your own fire. You forget what is your project. You forget what you really want to do. So this week, just try to be very mindful about what is it that you want to do. And remember, it's your birthday season, and sometimes birthdays are a very good occasion for us to reassess what we're doing, where we are going, and it's never too late. So perhaps you want to start a new project. Perhaps during the pandemic and the lockdown, you have been working on new projects, on new ideas, and you're wondering if you should go ahead with that or not. Just do it, okay? And cards, this element is actually associated, sorry, again, I'm trying to find the right place to show you the card. It's associated with fire. So if before we have talked for the 3 previous signs about emotional well-being, in this particular case, what I am going to talk to you is your action well-being. So just be mindful, just be sure that if you really want to do something, that you put the actions, the right actions in place to do what you want to do, okay? So this is the advice for you in relation to well-being for Cancer. Let's move on. So what's the next? The next are our friends Leo, and we are going to talk about Leo more in depth next month when we will be opening the dances with the wonderful season of Leo. But let's start now about talking about self-care for Leo. So what's in them? What's in store for them? The 6 of Swords. Sorry, just trying to show you the card. So the 6 of Swords, swords are a card, sorry, swords, not a card, are a suit that represent air, communication, logic, a little bit of strategy, because, you know, if you're logical, you think strategically about what there is to do. And sometimes that doesn't really resonate very well with Leo, because Leo, it's very much a fire sign. So they are very much about being on the go, showing off. They are powerful. They are the king of the jungle. They are those big, strong, wonderful personalities. Okay, they are people's people. Okay. However, the 6 of Swords, it's a card, first of all, that represents a journey, a transition of some sort. Okay. So Leo, just be mindful in this time of your life, in this week. What are you transitioning from and towards? Is it perhaps something that has to do in your job? Perhaps you are leaving a job or position, a situation that you didn't particularly like, and like all of us, perhaps you went through the motions just because you needed the money, and perhaps you're moving towards something different. Now, the journey is not necessarily a smooth one. It might be quite a rookie journey, but that's okay. That's part of that's part of life. Just be mindful, first of all, of the people, because in this card actually there is one man here, and he is guiding the boat, and there is a couple. I think that there is a mom with a child on the boat. So just be mindful, Leo, about the people that you are surrounding yourself with, okay? And also think, if you are transitioning your family, how are you transitioning your family? What resourcing are you using? Are you perhaps using all of your abilities? I know that you are a fire sign, okay? But that doesn't mean that you don't have logic. You have plenty of it. Perhaps it's not your strong suit in the sense that you don't use it very often, but you definitely have it and you can use it. So just be mindful about that, Leo, okay? And we have talked, like for the other sign, about self-care. So self-care in this case, it is linked to air, it is linked to communication. So this week, I really want you to pay attention how you communicate things to others. You know that the saying, that sometimes words can hurt worse than swords. So really pay attention to how you communicate things, okay? That's the advice of the tarot for you, friends of Leo. Let's move on. And let's do another card for our friends of Virgo. And with Virgo, in 2 months' time, we will be moving from summer towards autumn. So they are the last of the summer signs and the first of the autumn sign. So let's see what the cards have to tell you. Knight of Wands, friends of Virgo. So what does Knight of Wands mean? Now, the knights, all the knights, are always on the pursuits of something. Okay, they are knights, they are on a quest. So first of all, what's your quest? What is it that you're looking for? Okay, this is quite important, especially because this is a wand card. And as I mentioned earlier, when I picked the Ace of Wands for the friends of Cancer, I said that wands represents fire, passion, energy. So really think about the quest. If you're on the quest for something, if you're on the research of something and for something, is it this request, this search, not this request, sorry, this quest, this research really resonates with you, with who you are, with what you want, with your true belief that what you're doing is the right thing to do? Because if there is, well, go and do it. Or if you're already doing it, keep doing it, okay? And in regards to self-care, now, as I said earlier, fire, passion, and it's related to this suit, to the wand suit. Now, what do the knights do, especially if they are on a quest? They never stop and they never rest. And wands is associated also to physical action, okay? So what I really would like you to think about, friends of Virgo, is perhaps you have this attitude of working too much. You are perhaps a little bit too much of a workaholic. Perhaps you feel like now that the lockdown has been paused, that the restrictions are being lifted, you need to go back and you need to go to work, and you perhaps are wearing yourself thin because you're trying to catch up with everything that you feel has been left behind during the months of lockdown. So with this card, actually the advice for you for self-care is, I understand that you are on a quest, but if you wear yourself thin, perhaps you won't get there. So just try really this week to pay a little bit of attention to you. And if you feel tired, hey, you can rest. It's not the end of the world. At the end of the day, you will get there, no matter what. Okay? Let's move on. So we have our friends of Libra now, and Libra is a wonderful sign about balance and about elegance. So let's see what the cards have to say about them. So just shuffling, and let's see. And interestingly enough, for a sign that is all about balance, bringing harmony, bringing diplomacy, I picked the Five of Wands, which is a fight, okay? Now, actually, I think that this card fits very well with Libra, because Libra has this wonderful tendency, okay? They need to bring peace, they need to bring balance everywhere they go. But sometimes, as my friend Kate put it, sometimes they actually need to create chaos if there is too much balance, okay? But, friends of Libra, what I would really like you to think about is, reflect on your need of always, you always need to be the mediator, okay? You always need to bring balance. But sometimes actually a fight is there for a good reason, okay? Now, I'm not saying a fight that you need to kill each other, okay? But really think, a fight, when you are in a fight for something, like for example, if you're striving for your career, for your job, for improving yourself, when you are in a fight, the fight brings out what is called the quintessential, okay? The element that makes you you, okay? And if you're always trying to smooth things over for people, if you always try to take on board the problems of others, you actually don't allow the people to understand who they are. Plus, you get stressed because you get on board stress that it's not yours, that it belongs to others, okay? So what is the advice of self-care for you? So first of all, this is a fire card. Again, fire, passion, energy, and you know, passion, energy, fire, new ideas, and what I already said previous in the video. So let's think about you, okay, Libra. Sometimes actually you need to step a little bit back from your role of mediator. And perhaps that's what self-care for you is, you know, just thinking not what others want, not what is going on, but actually focusing a little bit on yourself first, okay? So this is the advice that the card have for you this week. Let's move on. And then we have our friends of Scorpio. Interesting sign. I have plenty of Scorpio friends, so let's see what they say. And guys, by the way, I'm going live. Let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay of this. Let me know in the comments later on what you think, if you agree, if you don't agree, if you like this format, okay? So let's see. The advice for self-care for our friends Scorpio. It is so interesting because I picked, sorry, I'm just trying to get the angle for my camera, and it is the 6 of Wands. Now, it seems like the cards today are evenly separated between water and fire, and the 6 of Wands actually is the card of victory, okay? And it is the card of the person that has gone through actually the fight in the 5. So the advice that we just spoke about for our friends of the Libra and our Scorpio, you know, Scorpio has a little bit of this tendency, especially in arguments, okay? They really want to win an argument. I know, because my rising sign is Scorpio, so I can recognize this tendency in me that sometimes I really want to win an argument. And the sign, however, I mean, Scorpio has wonderful qualities, don't get me wrong, all star signs have wonderful qualities. But how do we relate this self-care in relation to Scorpio, okay? Particularly because Scorpio is a water sign. Sorry, I forgot to mention. So we said Libra is an earth sign, and before that there was Virgo, and Virgo is a earth sign. But let's go back to Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign, and we picked a fire card for our water sign, Scorpio. And we said Scorpio has this tendency, always want to win. How do we relate self-care with winning? Okay, well, first of all, I would invite you to reflect on your victories, because I mean, engage with them, celebrate them. I mean, this is part of self-care. Have you considered all the steps that you have made, all the sacrifices that you have made to reach the victory? Celebrate them, engage with them. And perhaps you need, I don't know, you need a night out. Be careful to social distancing though, because I know you, Scorpio, you can be a little bit of the rebel. So just be careful. but perhaps you need to engage in something. Perhaps you need to celebrate something that it is very important for you. So just go ahead and do it, okay? And also, dear friends of Scorpio, another sign of self-care is if you have won something, don't feel guilty. I mean, most likely you have deserved it. That's why you have won, okay? So just celebrate it, be with the victory, okay? And just take care of yourself as the, you know, the winner of whatever thing you have just, you know, gained in your life. And let's move on. So what is after our friends of Scorpio? The wonderful sign of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, it is a fire sign. Let's say it immediately, otherwise I will forget. So let's see what the card have to say in regards to Sagittarius and what is the self-care that we can tell them. But well, I can. That, you know, the self-care that they can implement in their life in this week. And it is another, interestingly enough, it's another Wands card, and it is the Page of Wands. Now, friends of Sagittarius, Page of Wands, all pages are the students, okay? Are the ones that are just starting, are the nice young guys that are starting something, starting a project, starting, you know, perhaps a new course, perhaps a new venture, you know, someone young, someone that feels like is moving the first steps in life, in whatever thing that they are doing. So how do we relate this young person wants, which is fire, and actually you are very comfortable with it because you are a fire sign? It is actually to remember, because Sagittarius, in my opinion, has been one of the signs that has suffered the most during the lockdown, because they need to be on the go all the time. They are the adventurers, they are the travelers of the zodiac. They really need to be out there. It's not a case if their symbol is actually this Centaurus, which is half man and half horse. So they really need to be on the go all the time, okay? So, Sagittarius, what's your self-care? It's to remember your nature. Perhaps you have suffered a great deal during the lockdown, okay? Perhaps you have felt like, oh my God, this lockdown is never going to end. I'm bored out of my mind. Well, almost there, okay? This virus is still out there. It's still not completely safe to go and journey as much as you would like, but definitely there is something that you can do, okay? And perhaps this card is suggesting you to try something new. So do you know that course that you always wanted to do and you never thought you could? Explore it. Or, you know, perhaps that venture, that side venture that you wanted to start while still working full time, perhaps it is the right time now to start it, okay? So remember this part of your nature, reconnect to this part of your nature, and also reconnect to this wonderful, youthful part of yourself, okay? Just go and do and be who you really are. With caution though, because if you are traveling, just, you know, be on the safe side. But this is a piece of advice from Capricorn, so hey, it's my nature. Now, my favorite sign, I know, I'm terribly biased, but hey, I'm a Capricorn, so forgive me, but it's my favorite sign. Let's see what the card have to say in relation to self-care for our Capricorn friends. And let's see. So, Capricorn, the Queen of Swords. Here she is. Who is she? Why is she here? So, Queen of Swords. I'm actually not surprised that this card came up for Capricorn. I usually connect on a personal level more on the Queen of Pentacles, because I really think that Pentacles suits the Capricorn very well. It represents Earth, but hey, Queen of Swords it is. The Queen of Swords, it is very much about logic, okay? And it's swords are associated with air and communication, as we have seen previously. So what's the advice for us Capricorns? How can we use logic to our favor? How can we use logic to take care of ourselves, for our own self-care? Now, as we all know, actually I do know, Capricorn works a lot, okay? We are really hard workers. I don't mean to disrespect any other of the star sign, but guys, a Capricorn, when we work, we really work a lot, okay? So in this case, the piece of advice that I take from the Queen is, Valentina, work smarter, don't work harder, okay? So friends of Capricorns, before you do the thousands projects that you are usually working on, just take a step back and really have a good look at everything that you are doing. And now use those wonderful qualities that you possess to really think, hang on, what do I really need to be focusing on right now, okay? And just do one thing and take the rest of the time to rest a little bit, or do something that you really enjoy, because the issue with us Capricorns is actually we do a lot of things and we forget fun. And it's not the case that actually I picked the Queen and I didn't pick the King, because see what she has here. She was bound by something, so she has a little bit of twine around her wrist that has been cut. So which really means that we can get so involved in a situation, but we are also able to free ourselves for the situation, okay? So for us, dear friends of Capricorn, is really to assess the situation, pick one thing, and try to step back a little bit and try to rest a little bit more than we usually do, okay? That's our advice for self-care. Plus, also remember, this is an air card, because Swords is about communication, is about logic, is about intellect. So it is really about using our intellect in our favor, okay? Work smarter, don't work harder. Now, let's move on. We are almost there, guys. So we have only two left. So almost there. Hang on with me. Friends of Aquarius and friends of Pisces. Almost there. So for our friends of Aquarius, what's the advice in regards to self-care for you? And I know, because I live with an Aquarius, my husband actually is Aquarius. So let's see. Woohoo! And we pick the Lovers for the Aquarius. Now, dear friends of Aquarius, you have been another sign that has suffered a lot during the lockdown. Why? Because the Aquarius are the friends of the zodiac. They need to be with people. And being away from people, or even worse, I mean, I think of everyone that has been blocked home, perhaps with flatmates, and you really didn't get on very well with your flatmates, and you couldn't go out and meet with your friends. And the Lovers is actually a card. It's like, you know, we started with the Aries, with the Two of Cups, and now we are having the Lovers. So it's kind of Two of Cups is another version of the Lovers. And the Lovers, it's about not only being with someone that you really love, but it is also about doing something that you really feel you're aligned with. And for Aquarius, very often being aligned means doing something for the community. Okay, so what is the self-care advice for you in regards to community, in regards to, to the lovers? So perhaps, dear friends of Aquarius, think about what you can do for your community right now. Now, one thing that I know for Aquarius is that they can be a little bit allergic to rules, okay? But for your own self-care, try to respect the social distancing. Try to wear the masks, because that's what you can do for the community right now, okay? And you will always have time in the future where, hopefully, fingers and toes crossed and everything crossed very soon, you will be able to do many more things in the future. But right now, what you can do for your community is trying to do what what the government is advising us to do. So wearing masks and respecting social distancing and so on. Plus, it's a self-care for you because your health is important. So the advice of this card for me is, first of all, just be careful, be mindful of yourself, and plus, this self-care that you express towards yourself indirectly influences your community as well. Okay? And finally, last but not least, our friends of Pisces. So, dear Pisces, let's see what the cards have in store for you. Woohoo! The Devil! Ha! Which is a scary card. No, it's not really. So let's have a look at it and let's see how we can relate the Devil to self-care. So first of all, scary card. Yes or not? Actually, it's not a scary card. The Devil actually allows us to remember that sometimes we feel bound to things that we think are terribly important, and they're really not. They are not that important. Pisces, it is a sign of water. It is the sign that actually they are the masters of emotions because they swim in emotions very deeply. So they most likely have been particularly affected by all the grief and the pain that we have just experienced all the past few months. Because, I mean, a sign that can experience feeling so intensely has been particularly affected by this situation. So what's the advice of the Devil in regards to self-care? Okay, so first of all, don't be afraid of your own demons. If you're scared, it's okay. It's okay. I am scared too. Lots of people are scared. So, first of all, don't be afraid to, you don't need to wear a mask. You don't need to hide your emotions. You don't need to pretend to be strong. It's fine. If you're scared, if you're unsure, if you are perhaps not working full time as you feel you should be doing, it's fine. And also really reassess what is really scaring you. What's really binding you to those negative emotions, okay? Is it something that has a solid ground or not? And really, Pisces, start from you, okay? Assess you. Plus, what I've always thought that it was very, very interesting for this card is that the figures that we see here, and apparently, apparently they are chained, but they're actually not. They can break free whatever they like. The only problem is that they don't know that they can break free, okay? So Pisces, self-care for you is really to understand that you don't need to be in situations that you don't like. Now, I hear you. It's been a very tough period for lots of us, and perhaps you had to put up with situations you didn't like. Perhaps you had to stay with people that you didn't like. But now that the restrictions are easing everywhere, and I am in Ireland, so the restrictions in Ireland are being lifted more and more, just you really use this time to see what are those situations, and perhaps you can break free from the situations once you see them. Okay? So this is the advice of the devil for self-care for all my friends Pisces. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone that has been with me for those 40 plus minutes where I went through self-care in tarots with all the star sign. I really wish to thank you all. Thank you so much for spending this time in your busy day with me. I hope this has been informative. I hope you like this format. Engage. Let us know in the comments. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you would like to see more tarots from my side. And engage. We have a private Facebook group and you can comment there. And it's a private Facebook group, so other people won't be able to see. So engage. Let me know. And I am just so delighted that I was able to share my love for tarots with you all. And I will talk to you again very soon.